With the 2024 NFL Draft right around the corner, we are going to be going over my latest 7-round mock draft for the Washington Commanders today on the Commanders Report. But before we get into that, the Scouting Combine starts this weekend. And if you want the latest Commanders news updates all throughout the NFL Combine, you want to know all the players the Commanders are meeting with in Indianapolis this week, go ahead and click that subscribe button right now because we're going to have the latest news updates surrounding the Washington Commanders all off-season long. We're going to have in-depth scouting reports on all the top draft targets for the Burgundy and Gold as well. So if you want exclusive and an in-depth Commanders draft coverage all throughout this offseason, make sure you guys click that subscribe button and join our family today. So before I get into this mock, keep in mind that I'm going into this mock with very few assumptions in terms of what they're going to get in free agency, okay? So I'm pretty much approaching this as if they pretty much don't sign anybody in free agency, and their team needs that they have now are the needs that they're going to have come draft day there in Detroit. Now, obviously, this isn't realistic. They have the most cap space. They're going to be signing free agents, but because I don't know which free agents they're bringing in, right now I can only assume what I know right now. So right now, the only assumption that I will make is that I do think the Commanders are going to franchise tag Cam Curl, the safety. I think he's too good of a fit in Dan Quinn's defense, I should say, and I think he's a really, really good player. So I think that's what's going to be the move for the Commanders. So that takes away the need at safety because you got Derek Forrest playing free safety, Cam Curl playing strong safety. But in terms of the team needs, if I'm not making any more assumptions here, there's definitely a laundry list of things you got to get. You got to get 2 edge rushers, 2 inside linebackers, a quarterback, of course, an offensive tackle, an offensive center, corner, wide receiver, and running back. I mean, there's just a laundry list of things that the Commanders need to address. Now, remember, like I said, they're going to be addressing at least a couple of these in NFL free agency this year, so we'll have a better picture of what the draft needs are going to be for Washington the closer we get to draft day. But going into this mock draft, this is the list of team needs as we stand here today. So without further ado, let's get into this mock draft here. And you know what, guys? I'm actually getting a call right now. I'm getting a call, and it's coming from New England, all right? It's coming from Foxborough with new head coach Gerard Mayo, and he wants to trade up for Drake May, all right? So are we going to let him do this, all right? So he's offering, it's exactly what the Chicago Bears offered the San Francisco 49ers to move up from 3 to 2 to take Mitchell Trubisky all those years ago. A 3rd-round pick this year, a 3rd-round pick next year, and a 4th-round pick in 2025, okay? So a 1st-round pick this year, those swaps, you swap 2 for 3, and then you get 2 extra 3rd-round picks and an additional 4th-round pick, okay? So that's what the deal would be. And you know what, guys? Personally, I would just take Drake May at number 2. And if this was a true predictive mock, I actually think this is what the Commanders are going to do. I think when they look at the film with Drake May, I think they're going to see a noticeable difference in the grade between May and Jayden Daniels, the other top quarterback that's likely going to be here at number 2. But Washington, if they really want to build this thing through the draft, all right, and they really want to get as many good draft picks as they possibly can, they might consider doing this and trading down from 2 to 3, especially if their grade on Drake May and Jayden Daniels isn't too far apart. They might say, hey, if we can get 2 additional 3rd-round picks and an additional 4th-round pick, and we can get the guy that we want anyway, and Jayden Daniels or somebody that's just pretty much the same level of quarterback prospect as Drake May, this is definitely something they could consider. But for me personally, I'd rather go with Drake May. But you know what? I've already done a mock draft with the Commanders taking May at number 2. So we're going to accept this deal here for this week's mock draft. And with that 3rd overall pick, we're going to have the Commanders take Jayden Daniels, last year's Heisman Trophy winner from the LSU Tigers. And this would definitely be a move that would be exciting for this franchise, man. This guy's got super high upside. He's got the potential to be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFC for years to come. Somebody that could be a perennial MVP candidate and somebody that could absolutely get this team to where it needs to go under new head coach Dan Quinn and get this team back to its winning ways. So let me know down there in the comments section if the New England Patriots offered this trade package to you in exchange for the number 2 overall pick. Would you take it? Type A for accept or type D for decline. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's show, so YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. When that happens, take advantage of that time by answering today's pinned question with an A or a D. Then we get to round two after taking Jayden Daniels. So let's address the offensive tackle position here with one of my favorite pass protectors at the offensive tackle position in this year's NFL draft class, and that's Jordan Morgan from the Arizona Wildcats. I think that, maybe he's not the best run blocker in the world, but I think that he reminds me a little bit of Charles Cross when he was coming out a couple years back, where he's really stout in pass protection. And in this offense, lots of shotgun, lots of passing. You need an offensive tackle that's going to be able to hold his own in pass protection against the best edge rushers in the National Football League. I think if you can get Jordan Morgan here at the top of round two, I think that would be an absolute steal, and it's a perfect fit for the Washington Commanders. Then we get to the other second-round pick here for the Burgundy and Gold. I'm going to take Chop Robinson here from the Penn State Nittany Lions. This guy's super explosive. He's got all the measurables that you look for. I think he's going to test really well at the Combine. Now, will he get here to number 40? Maybe, maybe not. He might be kind of like a later first-round kind of guy. But when I ran this mock through the Pro Football Focus mock draft simulator, he made it to me here at number 40. I think he's a great fit for this team moving forward, so I'm going to take him right here at number 40. Now, coming up here, rounds 3 through 7, all right? So we got the rest of this mock draft coming up. We got another trade coming up as well, so make sure you guys stick around. But before I get into the rest of today's mock draft, I want to tell you about today's sponsor at Prize Picks. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use our code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100 today. Football season is officially over, guys, but the fun on Prize Picks never stops as you can enhance your viewing experience for things like March Madness, NBA basketball, MLB baseball when it gets going again, and even NASCAR with our friends at Prize Picks, which is a skill-based, real money, daily fantasy sports game. And if you're wondering how it works, here's how you play. Pick 2 to 6 players, and if they'll go for more or less than their Prize Picks projection, you can even win up to 25 times your money on any entry. You're looking at one of their MLB projections right there on the screen right now. Right now, they got full season projections that you could get right now. So it's like batting average. It's like total home runs, stolen bases, all those different things. You can get your projections in. You can watch those numbers rise throughout the 2024 MLB campaign. You can check it out now at prizepicks.com/CLNS and use our code CLNS for first deposit match up to $100 today. With Prize Picks, it takes less than 60 seconds to make your picks. So get started right now. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use our code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100 today. So when I was running through this mock draft here on the Pro Football Focus mock draft simulator, I could not believe Bralen Trice made it to me here at number 67. I think Trice personally is a bona fide first-round prospect. You look at his pass rush win rate over the last several seasons, the ability to get pressures and get to the quarterback. I mean, it's second to none. All right, so Bralen Trice, I think, is a really, really good player. I don't think he's going to be here in round 3, but hey, don't hate the player, hate the game. They gave me Bralen Trice here in the 3rd, so I'm going to take him, and I'm going to get that awesome dynamic duo for the future here with Chop Robinson, and then you got Bralen Trice on the other side. I think that immediately fixes your edge problem here in Washington, and hey, if they're going to give it to you, go ahead and take him. And hold on, guys, I'm getting another call here, and this time we're getting one from Detroit. All right, so we got one. So they want to trade up a couple spots to take their guy in the 3rd round. And you know what? I feel like we could use another 5th-round pick. So I'm going to take this trade down opportunity with the Detroit Lions, where they're going to take pick number 68 that we got from the New England Patriots in that Jayden Daniels trade, and then we're going to get pick number 73. So we'll move down a couple spots, and we'll get an additional 5th-round pick at number 163rd overall. So now we fast forward here to pick number 73. I'm going to take Jeremiah Trotter Jr., the inside linebacker out of Clemson. This guy was projected to potentially be a first-round draft pick in the way too early mocks last year, and he had another good season there at Clemson here in 2023. So he's somebody that I absolutely think can be plugged in as a starter right away in the National Football League. I think he's got the athleticism. I think he's a well-rounded prospect, and I definitely think he would be a good running mate on the other side of Jamin Davis and Dan Quinn's defense moving forward. Then another third-round pick here, right at the end of the third round, pick 101. I'm going to take a center here, Bo Limmer, another third-round center from the University of Arkansas. Of course, last year you take Ricky Stromberg. Doesn't seem like he's going to work out. I thought that was a big-time reach to get Stromberg in the third round last year. I don't think that's the case with Limmer this time around, because I saw this guy work at the Senior Bowl, and this guy was going up against guys like Tavondre Sweat one-on-one, and he was holding his own. Okay, so this guy can really hold up in pass protection, even in one-on-one matchups against straight-up nose tackles like Tavondre Sweat. So I definitely think this is a great value at the center position. We didn't get Cedric Van Pran. We didn't get Zach Frazier earlier. We didn't get one of those top center prospects, but I think Bo Limmer is a great value right here at the end of the third round. So before we get into the day 3 picks here for the Washington Commanders, make sure you guys click that thumbs up icon. If you're having a good time, you're enjoying our content here on the Commanders Report, it really does help us out when you take that half second and click that thumbs up icon. Then we get to round 4 here, and I'm getting somebody that I think is going to be a starter for this team right away. Is a great fit for Dan Quinn's man-heavy system. Renardo Green, the corner from Florida State. Pretty much no other corner in college football last year played more press, man coverage on an island last year than Green. And right now, Pro Football Focus is letting us get him in the 4th round. I have a 2nd round grade on Renardo Green. And if you're getting him in the 4th round, I think that's an absolute steal. So if the PFF mock draft simulator is going to give us Renardo Green here in the 4th round, we are 100% going to take that. And honestly, I think he'd be a great running mate alongside Emmanuel Forbes in the Commanders secondary. I think that he would be a mainstay in this Dan Quinn system for as long as Quinn is here as the head coach. Then right after that, pick 104, we're going to take Malik Washington, the wide receiver out of the University of Virginia. And listen, man, you got Terry McLaurin. You got Jahan Dotson. You might bring back Curtis Samuel in free agency. So you don't need one of the top of the top guys at the wide receiver position in this year's draft class if you're the Commanders, but you need to fill out the ranks because OC, Cliff Kingsbury, he likes to put a lot of receivers on the field, and he likes guys like Malik Washington that can run with the football in space. He was top 3 in college football last year in yards after the catch. He was also 3rd in the country in Pro Football Focus grade, and right now we can get him in the 4th round. That is an excellent value, so this is probably going to be one of my more mocked players to the Commanders this spring. Then we get to round 5 here, and we'll take another Clemson Tiger, somebody that I saw live in Frisco, Texas for the Shrine Bowl, and that's Xavier Thomas, the edge rusher there. I really like the way this guy works. All right, I like guys that can beat people and can beat offensive tackles with moves outside of their speed or outside of their power. No, you like to have guys with speed and power, but I love the finesse and the hand fighting, the ability to win late in the rep from Xavier Thomas. He's going to be probably more of a rotational guy in the National Football League, but hey, we got Bralen Trice, we got Chop Robinson to be our true core starters. I think Xavier Thomas would be a great rotational piece to go along with other Clemson Tiger edge rusher KJ Henry that's already on the roster here in Washington. Then in round 5, again, I'm going to take a special teams ace and potentially kind of a sleeper running back guy here, Tyrone Tracy from the Purdue Boilermakers, somebody that's really good in open space. He's a little bit smaller, but he's definitely somebody that I think if you don't bring back Jamison Crowder, if you don't get a punt return man in free agency, he can fill that role for you right away. And then I think he'd be a nice addition to a running back room that includes Brian Robinson Jr. and Chris Rodriguez Jr. already. So I like Tyrone Tracy a lot, and I think it's a good value here in round 5. Then in round 6, we get a tight end here, and it's Jaheim Bell, the kind of the receiving threat tight end from the Florida State Seminoles. And I really like the fit here between Bell and Cliff Kingsbury's offense because he's not going to be asked to block a whole lot. And that's not really what Bell does, right? So I really do think this is a good fit between player and scheme. And right now, I mean, let's face it, the Commanders need some more help and more dynamic tight end receiver play because Logan Thomas is fine, but he's definitely not going to be beating high-end inside linebackers or safeties one-on-one in man coverage. I think Bell is that type of player. And if you're getting him in round 6, I think that's one hell of a steal. Then in round 7, only one 7th round pick here. I'm going to take a producer Coops guy here, Jalen Ford, the inside linebacker, who I have a round 5 grade on. You can get him in round 7 according to Pro Football Focus right now. I think that's a great value. I think he'd be a good rotational piece And if he's even playing in a rotational role for you year one as a round 7 rookie, I think that's a really, really good thing to get here in round 7. So I'll take Jaylen Ford, the guy out of Texas. So here is actually my receipt here, just to prove to you guys that I actually made this entire mock on the Pro Football Focus draft simulator here. So there it is right there. And now it's your turn. Grade my mock down there. Pro Football Focus gave me a B. Personally, I freaking love it. I'll give it an A+ personally. But let me know what you guys think down there in the comment section. An A, a B, a C, a D, or an F. We take 12 players. All right, we get Jayden Daniels. We get Bralen, Trice, Chop Robinson, Renardo Green. I mean, we add a bunch of starters in this mock. I don't know how you can give this thing a B personally, but let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. And that'll be it for today's show. Make sure you guys click that subscribe button for more and in-depth Commanders draft coverage all throughout the 2024 offseason.